And thank you to all of you for spending part of your Saturday morning with us. I regret that we can't be together in person this year, but I hope you're enjoying pancakes and brunch safely at home. As we begin our time together this morning, I want to elaborate a bit about the Coalition's role as lead agency to the Way Home. You can think about our work as conducting the Homeless Response Symphony. Just like a symphony has musicians and instruments, our community has hundreds of nonprofits helping people in crisis. And just like a conductor makes sure all of the musicians are coming in at the right moment to produce a beautiful song, the Coalition aligns all of our partners to work together to solve homelessness. And that's just what we were doing when COVID hit Houston. Immediately, the Coalition stepped up, much like it did after Hurricane Harvey, to connect with our partner agencies and understand their needs and how their programs were changing in light of the pandemic. The Coalition secured tens of thousands of pieces of personal protective equipment that we distributed to our nonprofit partners and people living unsheltered to keep staff and people experiencing homelessness safe. The Coalition also worked quickly to stand up 3 immediate responses within just a few weeks of the pandemic hitting Houston. First, thanks to the partnership with Healthcare for the Homeless Houston, the City of Houston, and Harris County, we stood up a testing process exclusively for people experiencing homelessness. Then the Coalition worked with our friends at the Salvation Army of Greater Houston to launch an auxiliary shelter that has allowed for proper social distancing in our existing shelters. And at the same time, we were able to collaborate with the City of Houston and Harris County to establish an isolation and quarantine facility where people experiencing homelessness could recover from the virus or await test results. In times of crisis, I'm always astounded at how expensive these emergency services are and lament the fact that had we instead dedicated these resources to housing vulnerable people before the disaster strikes, we could be ahead of the curve. That's a big part of why the Coalition then got to work with the City of Houston, Harris County, and other nonprofits to develop a holistic, long-term housing-centered response to COVID. On July 1st, we announced the Community COVID Housing Program. This $65 million 2-year program will house 5,000 people. It will serve those who were experiencing homelessness before the pandemic, as well as those who find themselves in crisis because of the pandemic. The city and county together have already committed $57 million in public funding to this program, and the Coalition is leading the effort to raise the remaining $8 million needed to provide services and programs that cannot be paid for